Welcome back to GMF Talk, where we introduce you to the disruptors and innovators of our age. I'm Sertan Sanderson, and today I will be talking to a young entrepreneur from Brazil. He's known primarily for his video content on social media, especially on YouTube, with a following that is only second to American singer Taylor Swift. But Felipe Neto is much more than just a blogger. He is taking Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro to task over his lackluster response to the COVID-19 crisis and his overall populist tone. We'll learn more about that in just a moment, but first of all, welcome to GMF Talk, Felipe Neto.
Hello.
Now, Felipe, you are extremely successful as an influencer in Brazil. A lot of your content deals with video games and cute memes, but you're also a staunch advocate of human rights, especially amidst the current political climate in your country. Now, you've got tons of admirers, but you also have people literally coming to your doorstep with death threats because they don't like your stance against President Bolsonaro. How did you manage to remain resolute in your conviction all this time? Do you feel safe from harm precisely because you have millions and millions of followers on social media? As someone who is a very public personality in Brazil.
Well, when you ask if millions of followers can protect me somehow, it's not that they can literally protect me, but they can put pressure on the government. So every government, every politician, they live by their image, their reputation. So when they try to do what they did with me, that is, they sent a police car to my house, and they try to use the national security law to put me against the wall, I just showed to everyone. So when you have millions of followers, it's not that you are protected, but for sure you have some kind of power to fight back. So that's basically what happened, and they lost. And the judge didn't follow through with the process, and it's the natural thing to happen in a democracy, but they tried to censorship me. So when you have millions of followers, you have the power to fight back, and especially you have the power to show the truth. And that is the thing that they're most scared about, because they live with lies. Brazilian government right now, they live by lying to the people and trying to convince them of things that are not true. So when you have millions of followers, you can show the truth, and people will spread this truth towards other people. So when they try to tell people that I'm a pedophile, like they did, that I'm involved with criminal behaviors, and I don't know, every lie that they try to put on me, I have the opportunity to talk to my audience and look them in the eye and say the truth and prove them and show them the truth, and they can use the truth to convince other people online. So that is the power that having millions of followers give to you, and I'm very honored to have this audience to show the truth and spread the truth towards Brazil.
Yes, you mentioned the importance of truth there as the cornerstone of your conviction, of where you draw the energy from to keep fighting for your cause. But isn't that difficult, having to always keep up the good fight? I mean, last year, for example, you publicly called on artists, YouTubers, and other influencers in Brazil to proactively take a political stance against your president. What kind of response did you receive to that? And have the public's perception of you and your work perhaps changed because of that provocative public appeal?
No one needs to be informed about politics or needs to stand on any kind of opinion. You don't need to show your position when we are facing a democratic debate, when we're facing opposite sides of a democratic position. Right now, what Brazil is facing is a very different and special situation that is very delicate. So what I said is that when we are facing fascism and fascists, everyone who decides to stay silent is an accomplice of this fascist regime. So that is what I said, and I stand by that opinion till today. That was a very unpopular opinion towards my friends, other artists, and other people. Of course, I had a lot of support, like millions of people saying they support what I said, but at the same time, we have a lot of artists and a lot of digital influencers who decided to just say nothing. because they're afraid to lose audience or to get caught between a war or something like that. And it's just very shameful from my point of view that these artists and influencers are deciding to stay silent when we have this regime that is taking over Brazil, and we have this guy who is clearly a fascist guy controlling, having the power of the presidency of Brazil. So I stand by my opinion, and I believe you cannot stay silent when you're facing someone like Jair Bolsonaro.
Now, the way that you choose your words, the way you seem to deliberately egg on by saying things about Bolsonaro that could be interpreted as defamation or even worse, does none of that ever worry you? I mean, you have repeatedly become the target of hate speech campaigns, and at any moment you could potentially be taken to court. As a creator of digital content, above all, do you feel sufficiently protected by the existing laws in your country?
Well, the laws that were written, they're very old laws. Like they're not, they were not created in a digital world. So they didn't think about what would happen when would have internet, and everyone would be able to send threats and talk to everyone whatever they want to talk. So it's not that I feel that I'm unprotected, but I certainly don't feel protected by the existing laws, especially inside the internet. But at the same time, I don't think that the solution is to rush things. So I don't think because the laws are outdated that we should rush things through the Congress and just write whatever we want to make something quickly and as hard as we can, as fast as we can to protect people, because I believe that's when you make mistakes. We're dealing with a very delicate situation, and we need to take our time to talk with the specialists. We need time, and we need to stay calm. That's the best way to take decisions. And when we rush things, and we're talking about creating laws, we're going to end up with bad laws. And I don't think that's the solution to anyone.
Okay, one final question. Your follower numbers are impressive. 40 million people on YouTube and 12 million on Twitter. Last time I checked, I didn't even have 1,000. It's hard to imagine one person having so much influence in the digital realm. What kind of responsibility do you think comes with having such a huge reach?
I'm an entertainer, right? So I don't take the responsibility to educate people, but I surely take the responsibility to not uneducate them. So, especially my channel on YouTube, that I talk to an audience that is between like 7 years old and 90 years old. But I do know that I have a lot of people between 10 and 18 years old. So I do know they're in a critical phase of their lives, and I try to give them always information that is true, and tell them to search and research everything that they want to be sure about. So I take that responsibility very seriously, but at the same time, I'm a family entertainer, so I do silly jokes, I do silly content, and I'm not ashamed of it because it's very helpful for a lot of people, especially when we're facing bad times like we're facing now. People need to laugh and just feel silly for a few moments. So the responsibility is don't uneducate people, don't stand in the way, like don't be a barrier for someone who wants to be informed. Just be a nice human being. Like, if you want to show your opinion about something, then have some responsibility on what you're saying. And remember, if you're followed by 1 million people, then 1 million people can be misinformed if you tell a lie or if you say something just from the top of your head without researching what you're saying. So that's basically the responsibility that I take very seriously.
Well, I believe it was Spider-Man who said, with great power comes great responsibility. So I genuinely hope you will take good care, Felipe, and thank you so very much for sharing your thoughts and experiences with us on GMF Talk today.
Thank you.
And thank you to our audience for tuning in today. Please do come back and watch another episode of GMF Talk soon, where we discuss all things pertaining to disruption and innovation. And until next time, please do stay healthy. Bye for now.